Hey folks, welcome back to Numan Reviews. This is a special review because this is my first 1/12 scale action figure review. Today we're going to look at Mafex Wolverine 96, the reissue. Now before we continue, may I request that you tap that like button and subscribe button to support my channel. This 6-inch figure was released many years ago and there seems to be a love-hate relationship with this toy. Primary complaints are that the color scheme is not right, paint applications are a bit sloppy, and the biceps fall off too easily. Of course, the figure always sells out pretty fast, so take these complaints with a grain of salt. So let's see if Mafex address any of these issues by unboxing this X-Men toy in the light box. Here you have the front of the box, very nice open window box design with the blue and yellow color scheme. It's quite reflective, so I apologize if you can see my camera in the reflection. Right in the center you have Wolverine, a couple of sculpts, there's a mask over there, 2 claws. Down below I can see some hands, and I'm sure at the back there's a stand. On the top left you have a Jim Lee style comic book art of Wolverine. Lots of branding all around the box. We've got Marvel here, Mafex over here. Turning the box to the side, you can see the toy in action. Got a nice little picture of Wolverine looking very grumpy. More branding. Looking at the back, you can't deny that this box has Wolverine. Lots of pictures of Wolverine in different poses with different accessories. Again, lots of branding too. And the other side says Wolverine, looks pretty cool. I like how the X-Men logo looks. And again, Wolverine in another dynamic pose. So that's the box. Let's get this thing open. First glance, I'm quite impressed. Can't see too many paint flaws. Though as I suspected, they haven't really changed the blue color on the stripes. You've also got this Medicom certificate that certifies that this is a genuine product. Here are all the accessories that Wolverine comes with, not including the base, which we will look at in a little bit. So you've got a couple of fists that were already on his body. You've got 2 relaxed hands. You've got 2 clawed hands. You've got a normal face that was already on the body. You've got an aggressive face. You've got a portrait of Logan without the mask. And you've got this mask as an accessory. Of course, you can't put that on his head. I think they did a good job with the fists. Nice metallic blue paint applications. Mold work is good. You can make out the individual fingers. You can see there's some tension in the hand. Like he's really balling that fist. And the paintwork is clean. I don't see any paint bleeding anywhere. So I'm very pleased with that. The relaxed hand molds are also very nice. I like how the fingers look. I like how the hands look in general. And I also like the paint applications. Very nice metallic blue paint again. And very clean, so there's no bleeding anywhere. I do wish that there were some ripples on the gloves to make them look more like gloves. Though I do appreciate all the shading in the paintwork. Looks pretty good. The claws, again, excellent paint applications. I cannot see any bleeding of the paint anywhere. The silver claws are silver. There's no metallic blue paint on them, thank goodness. The fists look good too. In terms of mold work, this is a bit of an acquired taste. As I mentioned, it's quite unlikely for a reissue to change the molds. Most it'll do is improve the QC and improve the paint applications. These claws are still humongous. They're bigger than his forearm. And that's a bit of an acquired taste if you're a collector. I understand there's some artistic choice, but I think these claws are just way too big. Here is the relaxed portrait. When you're checking a head sculpt, paint applications, the most important areas are the face and the eyes. And the paint applications on this are very clean. I'm very pleased with it. There's no paint bleeding on the face, there's no paint bleeding on the eyes. And I'm very happy with that. Looking at the back of the head, again, very professional paint applications. Here's the aggressive sculpt, and the paint applications on a more aggressive sculpt like this are a bit more complex because there are teeth involved. Fortunately, no bleeding anywhere. The teeth look very clean. No issues at the back either. Here's the mask accessory, and I am very disappointed with the paint applications here. There's bleeding all over the place, some black marks on the top too, and it's something I could probably fix, but I shouldn't have to. I think the mold on Logan is outstanding. The hair looks gorgeous. Facial hair looks great too. Love that expression. And the paint application's very clean. Very happy with this. There is some paint bleeding on the side, but it's not too bad. I do wish that the hair color was a bit darker. It feels like they started with blue and then give it black shading, and I think it should be vice versa. Here is the base that Wolverine comes with. Very standard Medicom stuff. You've got options for dynamic posing. You've got options for museum posing too. Here we have Mafex Wolverine straight out of the box. He's in a museum pose. He's got a lime yellow and metallic blue color scheme. The plastic quality feels pretty good. I like the mold, I like the musculature, and first impressions are this is a very aesthetically pleasing Wolverine toy. Looking at the body, what immediately stands out to me is the paint applications are very clean. The yellow paint, the black paint, the blue paint, all where it should be. I especially like that the skin is quite clean. There's no blue paint on it either, and I like the skin tone, though I do wish that it matched the face a little bit more. I really like this side profile. I think they've done an excellent job with the mold. Looks exactly like how you think Wolverine should look in 1/6 scale on a highly posable toy. The paint applications on the arm for the hair, they look good too. Turning the figure to the back, again, excellent mold. Love all the musculature on the back. Again, excellent paint applications. Can't see any paint bleeding anywhere. Nice subtle shading on the yellow paint, though I do wish there was a bit more shading. So looking at this figure from every angle, the first impressions are quite good. But now let's take a deeper dive into some of the flaws that have been plaguing this figure for a long time. So what has Mafex fixed in this reissue? So the claws are still too long, the hair is not sculpted on, and the design flaws on the shoulder remains. I can excuse Mafex for that because this is a reissue, this is not a revision, this is not a new figure. But I do wish that these stripes were at least black or a darker blue. They're still the same metallic blue color, and that's something Mafex could have addressed with some subtle changes. One improvement they have certainly made is that the biceps do not fall off too easily. I have played around with this figure for quite a while. I've done all sorts of poses, and the biceps are fine. That is something they may have fixed. Hopefully it's not just my copy, and in general with this revision, the biceps have been fixed. It's time to look at the articulation, but before we start, I'm just going to show you how to align these stripes a bit better. So you gently move this shoulder piece, lift the shoulder, push, bring it back down. Same with the other side. Gently lift, push it in, bring it back down. Even after all of that, it's still not perfectly aligned, and it's just a design flaw that is quite unfortunate. Let's start looking at the articulation with the head. Head turns right, turns left, no problems. Tilts left very nicely. Tilts right very nicely. Look how far down it looks, beautiful. Looks up high very well. I think the extended articulation has to do with the neck peg. As you can see, it's slightly tilted, so I think that helps. Nice butterfly joint on the shoulder that allows you to shift forward, back, up, down. It's pretty cool. This is on a pin, so you can move that out of the way if you need to. Shoulder rotates very nicely. Gorgeous double jointed elbow. Hand moves freely. Bicep swivel. Waist tilts left, tilts right. Good ab crunch. Look at that, that's beautiful. Thigh rotation. Leg kicks forward. Hindered a bit by his shorts, so I'm not going to push it too much. But double jointed knee. Very nice. The shin rotates too. Nice ankle movement. And you even got some toe articulation for some dynamic poses. So overall, I will give the articulation a thumbs up, and I'm very pleased that the biceps aren't falling off. So I think Mafex has definitely improved this figure in that regard. It's time to put Wolverine under the portrait lens for a closer look. Let's take Mafex Wolverine to the toy room now for some fun poses. Time for some size comparisons, and we're going to compare Mafex Wolverine with Marvel Legends Wolverine. This is the Marvel Legends Wolverine from the X-Men 3-pack, which some people refer to as the Romantic Triangle 3-pack because it has Cyclops and Jean Grey. Both, of course, are Tiger Stripe Wolverines. There are some things that Marvel Legends Wolverine does quite well, and there's some things that Mafex Wolverine does quite well. Let's start with the positives of the Marvel Legends figure. What immediately stands out as an advantage of the Marvel Legends Wolverine over the Mafex Wolverine are the tiger stripes. They're black, whereas they're blue over here, and I don't mind the blue, but it could have been much darker. The applications are okay over here, whereas they're half on the butterfly joint, half on the shoulder, and that is quite bizarre, especially when you're posing this figure. I also like the fact that the claws are a reasonable size, whereas they're just a bit too big over here. The hair on the arms is sculpted, whereas it's painted over here. A lot of people prefer sculpted hair, but I must say aesthetically it actually looks quite good painted compared to here. I also like the fact that there's a little bit of shading on the paint applications here, and there's less shading over here. I also like the darker yellow versus the lime yellow on the Mafex Wolverine. But this is where the advantages of the Marvel Legends figure end. For starters, the plastic on this just feels premium. You're paying much more for this figure, and it feels it. The plastic over here feels kind of cheap, and in addition, the mold cutting is pretty poor. Same with the paint applications. These paint applications are quite professional compared to the paint applications over here. Ultimately, neither of these figures is bad. In terms of value, you're certainly getting much more value for this, but ultimately, in terms of aesthetics, in terms of feel, I would definitely go with the Mafex figure. It just feels a bit more premium than the Marvel Legends figure. As long as you get a good copy, of course. For another size comparison, here we have Hot Toys 1973 Days of Future Past Wolverine, and on the right, of course, you have the Mafex Wolverine, this time with the Logan sculpt on. Clear size difference between the two. This is a 1/12 scale figure. This is a 1/6 scale figure. If you're going for a fun factor, if you want to just pose your figure and do dynamic action stuff, you go with the Mafex. But if you're looking for something that looks more realistic, then you go with Hot Toys. My final score from Mafex Wolverine 096 is going to be 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this figure. The paint applications are outstanding on mine, the body looks fantastic, I love all the portraits, especially the mask one. The articulation is excellent, and Mafex may have fixed the bicep issue. However, all is not perfect with this Wolverine figure. For starters, the stripes are a little too blue. Claws are pretty massive, and the stripes on the shoulder just look awkward. So, if you can come to terms with these imperfections, You will really enjoy this Medicom Mafex Wolverine toy. That's it folks, that's my review. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to tap that like button and subscribe button. Until next time.